Basketball. Basketball. Basketball.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say
Basketball. Basketball. Basketball.
basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots, a dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagak. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
Just an incredible weekend of hate watching. Like a legendary weekend. Weekends like this, they don't come along very often. So when they do, I think you need to take a moment and just appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. I don't know if this crew has worked together yet. We got a fun crew here today. Look at everybody. We got Dave Damashek here.
Yeah, good job.
That's right.
Hello, what a pleasure to join you in your moment of pleasure of hate watching everybody else. What's Amin doing back there? Stay on target, Amin. Come on, man. Look at him. I love the T-shirt. I don't know that I love the eating.
It's finishing
during the
breakfast.
show.
It's
All right.
breakfast flan. Come on. It's a tradition like no other. Also, may the 4th be with you.
Oh, man, did we have some fun this weekend. Saturday night, we'll start with Saturday night. I did date night. I mean, you know how it goes. Sometimes you got to treat the ladies right. Did date night on Saturday. Took my wife out. What are you pointing at me for?
You had your finest Stone Cold Steve Austin T-shirt on.
So, well, I not going to lie. When I got dressed, we went for the early bird, 4:45 p.m. dinner, 6 p.m. movie.
4:45, what does that mean? In the fours? You had dinner in the fours?
You can't be serious.
4:45, you eat at 4:45?
We went to dinner at 4:45. Yes, it was 6 o'clock movie. All right.
Well, eat after though.
No, I wanted to get home. Game 7. Come on, and which was a problem in and of itself because when I was getting dressed and I'm getting ready and I come out of the bathroom and my wife looks at me, she goes, "Wow, that's what you're wearing to take your wife out on date night, huh?" And I had to change my pants because I was in shorts, like I was in the same kind of shorts that I wear here, So I had shamed a little bit.
No backwards hat, though?
No.
The shorts
Okay.
were bad, but the arrive, raise hell, leave Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt stayed on.
No, I let the dome out on Saturday night.
Nice.
No hat, all right. And we get to dinner. Yes, 4:45. 4:45. We went out to dinner because we got to make the 6 o'clock movie. And she starts to put 2 and 2 together because the TVs are on at the bar, but there's no basketball on yet. And she sees like the promotion for the game that's coming up for Boston and Philadelphia. She's like, hold on a second. Are we seeing the 6 o'clock movie because you knew that you wanted to get home in time for Game 7 tonight? Now, we went to see Devil Wears Prada, too. Now, if you know anything about me, okay, you know 2 things about me. I'm never a cuck, all right? Stop sending me pictures of chairs in hotel rooms. It's enough already, all right? Nonstop, every day, I'm getting empty chairs in hotel rooms. I would never sit in that chair. Everybody knows I'm not a cuck. And number 2, everyone knows I love Devil Wears Prada. So I bought the tickets to the movie like a week in advance. Dave, how would I know that there's going to be a Game 7 before Game 6 is played? That's what I said to my wife. I go,
Fair.
How would I know? I can't predict the future. This is a coincidence, all right? And then we get home. Got home in time for like the start of the second quarter. I mean, what a night. The Celtics, they cough up the 3-1
Wait
lead.
a second. You were on Friday when we yapped. You were very excited about Devil Wears Prada. How about a quick 10-second review?
Oh, I enjoyed it very much. Okay. Not as good as the first one, but how can you expect it to be as good as the first one? I loved it. Laughed throughout the movie. Anne Hathaway looks great, of course. Miranda Priestley, I mean, come on, running. She's in charge of that magazine. She's never going anywhere, all right?
Miranda?
I loved it. Emily Blunt looks great. All the characters in the first one, they're all back in it.
All right, I just didn't know. So that wasn't the highlight.
No.
That was just the warm-up for the main event.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's important we praise the way they look as opposed to their acting.
Well, it's
First
a movie.
and foremost,
First and foremost, they look great.
What are these guys doing?
hot.
It's a
What are
movie
these guys
about
doing?
fashion,
Chicks
okay?
were hot.
The movie is about pretty people. That's what the movie is,
They
all
looked
right?
hot. Chicks, man.
So we get home.
His comment on the performance, Emily Blunt looks great.
Yeah, she looked great. She looked great.
Don't forget Anne Hathaway.
A great-looking girl. So is Anne
Also
Hathaway.
look great.
Girl.
Great-looking girl.
Call them girls.
That's right.
Chickadees.
And I'll tell you, Meryl Streep,
She's a brassy broad.
no one better than Meryl Streep. Everybody knows that.
How'd she look?
Yeah.
She looked great. I mean, she's
Like a babe.
She's Meryl Streep. I mean, you know, she's Meryl Streep. What do you want me to say? It's a great movie.
Any new babes?
No. I just want the old
Disappointing.
characters. I only want the old characters. Do you want me to tell you Stanley Tucci was handsome? He was handsome.
Oh, he's a fraud.
Really?
I try to steal Anthony Bourdain's whole lane, man. Nobody cares, man.
It was the pandemic.
We get it. You're
Relax.
Italian.
It was the
Okay.
pandemic.
Oh,
We all
look at
needed
me.
something,
I
okay?
know
A
spaghetti.
staunch
Shut up.
defensive Stanley
I love
Tucci.
Stanley Tucci. I've sat idle behind all the time. I'm gonna say it now. He did a great job on Italy. He did a great job.
You and I
for you.
park our cars in the same
No, we
garage,
don't.
my friend.
No, we don't.
Good
I
for
use that in a
you.
different tense, and I don't like it.
What the hell?
Dave uses it in a tense that I don't like. So I am a non-parker in any of your garages.
I don't
anyway.
like it either.
I've never seen this before, Taché. What a slap in the face. I've never heard, like, trying to park your car in the garage,
Like, no.
figuratively with a pal, and getting stiff-armed.
What am I, Zaz?
A
Come on,
single car
great.
garage.
It's a single car.
No,
I just wonder why he's more offended by me than Dave.
if you were Zaz, you'd be doing the street parking and then watching someone else park into your
Correct, which is why that garage door closed.
Solid 10 seconds on Devil Wears Prada 2.
Look great.
So I get home, and now it's time for the main event. And boy, did the main event come through. I mean, the Celtics, they were so bad. You missing threes? Shoot some more. I mean, that performance by the Boston Celtics, mwah, chef's kiss, all right? Beautiful way for the season to end. And can I tell you something I don't want to hear from the Celtics fan, all right? All season long, oh, this was supposed to be a gap year. This is a gap year. And the bragging the whole year. Gap year. Guess what? You can't then now call it a gap year, all right? When you choke away, when you blow a 3-1 lead to the number 7 seed, all right? Expectations change. I don't want to hear about a gap year. You blew it!
Listen, you're not an empty vessel. You're rich and full, but that vessel is full of hate and nothing but. Why? I texted you and Mike Ryan over the weekend because it was clear from both of you, nay, from everybody within these four walls over the week. Why do you hate Boston so much? What is the root? It's not like we've had some tough series over the years against them in various sports, and Tom Brady kind of had his way with us more often than not, and it's all yielded this reality. But you guys hate Boston.
Hate 'em.
What gives?
Yeah.
Well,
Zaz, you want to take the first shot at it?
I mean, we do have a huge rivalry there. Like, we've had battles with them. So if we want to stick to just in basketball terms, yes, we have had nasty battles with them. I mean, it really is as simple as that for me. I hate their guts. I hated them from 2010 to 2014, where the Heat owned them all of those years. Routinely sent Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and Rajon Rondo's stupid face home for the end of the season. And then, of course, the rivalry resumes in the 2020s. 2020, 22, 23, 24. It's a team that we face every single year.
And it's not just stuck on basketball. Like in hockey, the Bruins and the Panthers have had some really passionate series. I mean, you can date this one back to Hill Flutie. Boston and Miami have this really angry rivalry.
That
with
was
one another.
that was Mike Ryan. It's funny because I'm old, and I remember when they were both independent football teams, college in the age of independent when it was powerhouses filled that Penn State, Pitt, Army, Navy weren't powerhouses. Rutgers, Temple, Syracuse, and BC and Miami really emerged and really broke things up. It can't go back to that though. The Hail Mary from Flutie.
It always bothered me. I wasn't even alive when it happened, and it pisses me off every time I see a highlight of it. And I think you mentioned the Patriots and Dolphins, somewhat, but on the totem pole of like the Boston Miami rivalry, it's
low.
pretty low.
So I've always been under the impression as an outsider that it got ratcheted up extremely with Pat Riley. Because Pat Riley hates the Celtics from when he was the Lakers head coach.
But we only started to get that around 2010. Like Riley got here in 95, and yes, there's a massive hatred with Riley in Boston and vice versa. But that was never a thing here. Like
It was more tied to the Knicks.
Yeah, we immediately inherited the Knicks rivalry. The Celtics and Riley and Danny Ainge should shut the fuck up. Like that didn't happen until
Settle down, Scott Jennings. Come on, man.
like whatever year that was. I don't remember exactly.
Well, and for me, like that's why I don't really have strong feelings. I'm agnostic about the Knicks because for me, in my lifetime, the Knicks have been,
It was so
until
long
literally
ago.
right now, totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
And the Celtics, when I was in high school, it's the Big Three era of the Celtics win, and then the Big Three era of the Heat assembles and just wipes the floor with them over and
Every
over
time.
again. And then they're still talking and talking and talking and talking. And then they approach 2020 with talking and talking and talking about this great team they've assembled. And then Bam stuffs them at the rim. And we know the rest of everything from there. They're a bunch of front-running chokers. Like that's who they are. That's what Boston is. Like they have their one. They have their one. No, that's what Boston is. That's what the Boston
is
Celtics
front-runners?
franchise is. Yeah, the Boston Celtics.
That's some allegation.
The Boston Celtics are a bunch of front runners. This team only knows how to win when they have a giant lead, when they're beating up on teams in series. This is the third time in 4 years that they've lost a series where they were giant favorites. They lost to the Heat. They lost to the Knicks. Now they lost here. This team beat a bunch of teams that didn't have their superstar. They front run Tatum and Brown. Mazzulla as a coach makes no adjustment to take. Go out there, be more talented, shoot more threes. It's ridiculous. What Boston has done to assemble this type of reputation that they have, I can't understand it for the life of me when all they are is a bunch of front-running chokers.
It keeps getting worse. They lost it in conference finals to the Heat, and they won a title. Then they lost to the Knicks in the second round.
That's right.
And now it's the first round. What's next? They missed the whole thing?
They might miss the whole thing. Hey, look, they blew more 3-1 leads this year than the Miami Heat did. I'll tell you that. And they won the same amount of playoff series.
There's a lot of things that bother me about the Boston sports fan. One of the things is they approach every conversation from a sports fandom superiority complex because they won a bunch of titles back before anybody was alive.
There's 8 teams in the league.
I think that's a really fair point, and you can really indict the Montreal Canadiens with the same thing too,
True.
right?
I mean, in my lifetime, the Miami
Yankees.
Heat are a more prestigious franchise.
The Miami Heat have won more titles.
Holy hell! Now you're getting crazy.
it's true.
You get in your lane, Damashek.
I don't know if you're right. That just hits my ear as a wild statement.
Let
but
me explain
ponder.
why. Let me give you the reason why. I've been on this mission for years now. Hey, Dave Damashek, who's won the most Super Bowls?
Tom Brady.
Like, as a franchise?
Tom Brady's the Patriots. And
Patriots,
the Pittsburgh
okay.
Steelers and right. Go ahead.
Sure. Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. What if I ask you, who's won the most NFL championships? Nobody knows that off the top of their head.
Probably Packers, maybe?
Nobody knows it off the top of their head. You know
Yeah.
why? Because
Cleveland Browns can claim one of those.
we collectively agreed, implicitly, silently. We thank you for your service, pre-Super Bowl merger, pre-AFL-NFL merger, but you are in a box in the attic that we never look at again.
So right.
The modern NFL history starts with the merger, starts with Super Bowl
Close.
one.
I think it's right. I think it precedes the actual merger. I always say Super Bowl. Pro football history becomes relevant when the Super Bowl era begins. Yes, they're different markers, but for different sports.
So-
I don't think you count in the NHL. Original 6 doesn't count. 67 is the start of the clock.
I'll take your word for it when it comes to the NHL. But when it comes to the NBA, Dave Damashek, we had a time when the best players in basketball were not playing in the NBA. They were playing in another league that the NBA didn't respect. They looked down on their nose. Oh, look at them with all their Negroes playing basketball the way they want to, like it's a playground, and their colorful basketball. And what is that gimmicky line they have on the floor? They looked down at the ABA. But then when they played ABA versus NBA All-Star games, guess who was winning? ABA was. And when they had the merger, and you look at that first All-Star game, the majority of the players were what? They weren't NBA players. They weren't establishment. They were the ABA players. And when you look at basketball from 1960, mid-60s, 67, right when that merger was, and you watch ABA basketball and you watch NBA basketball, you tell me which one looks more like basketball today, we would all say the ABAs. That's what basketball looks like. What's that robotic, crazy thing? And yet, we're going to sit here and count 11 championships played in that old clunky
Nonsense.
style? Why? And then, but if we take it from the merger, when basketball became basketball like we know it and love it, well, all of a sudden, the Celtics they got 3 with Bird and Parrish and McHale. They've got 1 with Paul Pierce, and they've got 1 with Jason Tatum.
Underachievers.
So 5 titles. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat, damn, I think
We have 3.
Yeah, well, never mind.
No, we
I
have,
was just gonna say.
no,
what
we
is
have
this
3, but
all
we've been
leading
no.
to?
We have 3, but I think
They've
we've
been to 7.
7 finals. Like it's not even close in terms of like the
Celtics have been to
prestige.
4 since.
It also
in that
starts with
span.
the inception of the Heat, right? In '89,
that's
you
what I
can't
think.
be
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
84,
I'm
86,
back.
88. Like
Yeah, can't win the championships before your existence.
Yeah,
but,
3-2.
But let me-
fair.
At the heart of this issue, I mean, we can't ignore it. The racism angle. It's true. We can use coded language like better sports fan, which is a trope that I think if you pull back some of the layers, and I want to be very clear, not everybody from Boston is a racist. I understand that.
It's not 100%.
It's not 100%. Just like not everybody from Florida is a meth head. But there are certain stereotypes that come with a track record. And you have to kind of acknowledge it. And the same way that there is race trafficking with a white Irish heavyweight contender against a minority challenger, like that's a part of this. You cannot ignore it.
What are you talking about? Jerry Cooney versus Larry Holmes? When they made that fight, Jerry Cooney was overmatched. I agree. I mean, I don't know if that's a separate conversation or I guess you've neatly tied it into this. Right. The clock starts in the NBA, in my head at least, right after the merger, when Bird and Jordan arrive. I mean, when Bird and Magic arrive. So if you say about 79.
76, 77 is the first year post-merger, which means, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're keeping track at home, John Havlicek, 0 titles in my book.
Since the Heat have existed, they have more titles than Boston does.
Yeah.
Period.
32.
And they had this incredible historic team that Paul Pierce tries to put in perspective with the Miami Heat. They don't even come close to what the Miami Heat were in their Big 3 era. They weren't close. They were underachievers. They won once. And now you have a team that's spiraling, that was bragging about their genius young coach who they're trying to make, oh my God, he's got 4 50-win seasons in 4 years, and Spo has 4 50-win seasons in 18 years. How about the fact that Joe Mazzulla has 3 series losses with home court advantage in 3 years?
He's
or in 4
lost to
years.
a 7 seed and an 8 seed.
Spo's only done that twice in 14 years. It doesn't happen. They're underachievers. Their talent is paramount. Always. Every time. Everybody's telling us how incredible Tatum and Brown are. And yeah, you have this gap here, but oh my God, look at these finds. Look how great Peyton Pritchard is. He's so talented. He's a lead guy. He's a really good player. That's the point. You have all of this
Boston
talent.
really loves him.
Well, guys, to be fair, when you have the opportunity to close out a series at home in a Game 7, you got to start 3 guys who have barely played all year long, right? And just to get a different look. Oh, my
Two-way
God.
guy.
The idea, we did our post-game reaction, and we roasted him, and I was like, okay, now for the rest of the media landscape to eviscerate this guy. And nobody, I'm like, how was this not? I went back and watched the press conference. I'm like, what? They didn't just keep asking him, no, but how much pushback did you get from your staff, from Brad Stevens, from your players? You started Ron Harper Jr. in an elimination game because you want to try a different look? What the hell? This isn't Game 74. This is the goddamn NBA playoffs.
Another thing that bothers me about the whole Boston-Miami rivalry is, I mean, there are huge influential sports voices that come out of Boston that kind of dictate a narrative. And I think we're kind of seeing
like
that right
who?
now.
There's not. You can't even name
who you
one.
talking about, Mike? Who you talking about?
The sports guy who I go to Simmons because I want to drink his tears. I think he is a national tastemaker. The Northeast influence over sports is irrefutable, and I think maybe the Boston's control of it is a little outsized. And I say that as part of a very pro Miami media empire down here, where we try our best to counter that. But look, it's true. They dominate the conversation here, and something is missing from the national narrative today when I turn on the TVs. Yeah. They should be absolutely flaming the Boston Celtics. This is a great.
I think there's time for that. It's only 9 a.m.
It should have been wall to wall. This is a historic embarrassment. They lost to Paul George and
First
Joel
time
Embiid.
they've ever lost a 3-1 lead.
And it wasn't 2019 when they lost to Joel Embiid and Paul George. It was 2026. They blew a 3-1 lead against a franchise with guys at the heart of it that are the ones known for choking.
It kind of reminds me of the Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn, and the scene in the courtroom where Sean Penn's walking down and he whispers into Michael J. Fox's ear, "You're a television actor."
I don't know whose voice that is, but I have a long-standing thing called the Ewing theory. And my Ewing theory asks this question: that what are we talking about with how much pride are you supposed to have as a Sixers fan right now? They didn't have Jason Tatum. He's their best player.
Oh, who gives a shit?
Oh, they're better without him.
Who gives a shit? Yeah, if you're a Sixer fan.
They were better without him all year.
No. It doesn't matter. If I'm a Sixer fan, I would laugh in anyone's face who brought up you didn't have Jason Tatum in Game 7. The same way that as a Heat fan, if you want to talk about 2023 and them not having Jason Tatum in Game 7, I'll laugh in your face there too.
Look, the Sixers knew that not having Jason Tatum was going to be to their benefit.
Okay.
But they thought it was going to be more difficult
I have
without him.
I have two things. Go ahead.
They thought it was going to be more difficult without Jason Tatum.
Once we found out that JT was out, honestly, we felt like the game was going to be even harder. We knew that they were going to come out there and play free, open-minded. Like, D. White shot the ball 26 times. They shot 16 threes. He wasn't even thinking about anything, you know what I'm saying? And, some of those were going to go in, and they did. And we knew it was going to be difficult. We didn't think it was as soon as I found out, I told Joel, like, it's not going to get easier. It's going to definitely be harder.
That's their best player, Tyrese Maxey.
And I think, like, if you're going to do the we didn't have Tatum thing, that's awfully convenient for a franchise. As we've highlighted, when they won their championship against Dallas, they ran into a team that had lost a superstar every round on that march. So miss me with that bit of context. And given what we were saying about Tatum,
I haven't heard a Boston fan say that, by the way. I'm just
why would
that
they?
They
would never say that.
Why would they diminish their own accomplishments? And I think Amin is right when the history of basketball won't really remember that. And I know we're only a couple of years removed from it, but it was pretty spectacular. I mean, we haven't really seen that. And maybe it's because I hate Boston so much. I'm not going to let them forget that. I think that's an important bit of context, so much so that I still think, despite winning a championship, this core group of Boston Celtics hasn't really shown that they can pull together and overcome true adversity.
Go on.
And I think we saw that on Saturday night.
You know what's funny? You're saying this core group, and I'm saying I'm not putting this on the players. I think they did their darndest. They play hard. They're good. Their player development program is excellent. How many guys that we thought were scrubs ended up being rotation players?
True.
Like, for instance, Keita. Wow, this guy was barely playing a couple years ago, and now he's a starting center, except in Game 7. Game 7 of the playoffs, you're going to start Luka Garza. Why are we not killing Joe Mazzulla? He's trying to be, I'm smart. I think outside the box. You guys use your laptops like this. This is how I use my laptop, and it goes straight to my brain faster. Also, I'm empty on the inside. That's what makes me a great coach. And we just smile and nod and say, oh, there goes crazy Joe Mazzulla, when absolutely he should have been front and center on every show. This dude should have been fired at halftime. No, quarter break. First quarter break.
There's so much smartest guy in the room when it comes to Joe Mazzulla. I'm not over it. I'm not so over him. I've been so over Joe Mazzulla. And, like, how about this? Imagine this. You just blew a 3-1 lead for the first time in the history of the franchise to a team who you hadn't lost to in the playoffs since 1982, another team who has never overcome a 3-1 deficit, and a player in Joel Embiid who has never won a Game 7. And here's Joe Mazzulla after the game giving you this garbage.
And a lot of times in the world today, it's an either-or society, but there's a duality to everything. And, the year we won, I felt just as empty as we did when we lost. And the duality of going after something bigger than yourself with a group of people is you're always going to have, there's two sides to every coin, and you have to, when you go after greatness, you have to accept the other side of that. And too many times, it's all about winning, but you have to surrender to the idea if when you're going after that, you're going to fail. And, we've failed by not winning, but we stick to the process of being able to do that. But I think that's just kind of the duality of how things work. It's not an either-or thing. It's both and you feel both of those things,
Can you imagine you're a fan, your season just ended, you blew a 3-1 lead, and you got to listen to that mumbo-jumbo bullshit?
Knows as he's so much smarter and better than us. There's no better feeling than losing a Game 7 at home after you were up 3-1. It's, in fact, feels exactly the same as winning an NBA championship.
He never describes the good side. He's like, it's not an either or. When's the good side? I felt just as empty when we won the title. When do you feel good exactly, fella? By the way, I like what-ifing stuff. So is the grand what if you're a Celtics fan, is what if the Udoka off the court stuff never happened?
Udoka, that's a fine. But yes, what if he keeps it in his pants?
I deserve it.
What if he doesn't park his car in that garage?
If you go back, they have 2 titles right now, right? 2, 3 titles?
No, I don't know about that. Like, what has he done in Houston with an equally good team over in Houston? Obviously, the West is better.
I think he's done a good job in Houston.
Yeah, I wouldn't say equally as good. Look, this is the beauty of sports, right? It's not like, all I needed to do was add some sugar, and then all of a sudden the recipe ends up being great. There are so many moving variables, not the least of which is Ime is a very, very demanding guy. And so how would those guys respond? Maybe they needed a Joe Mazzulla who just comes in with crazy ideas and does somersaults, literally, I'm not making that up, somersaults into the locker room and telling players, I bet you can't do that. Like, maybe they needed a goofball to just kind of like experiment and all those things while they would just go out and play. The problem is when the goofball has an idea like, I got it. Let me start 3 of my scrubs in Game 7.
They'll never
of the
see
NBA
it coming.
playoffs.
They'll never see it coming.
And again, the Tatum injury stuff is lame. Number one, they had opportunities to close out this series with him on the court, and your argument is against the Philadelphia 76ers, who are perpetually injured, who are consistently diminished.
Right.
They lost to them in 7 a couple years ago where Embiid was hurt and Harden was hurt and all that stuff. And all everyone said is Harden choked in that series. He had a 40-point game to save off elimination in that series, but we never talk about it. We never talk about the injuries. Like, well, you guys lost. That's all that matters.
Well, that's not the only lame stuff coming from after the Celtics choke on Saturday night. How about it? Not even immediately after the game. 24 hours to digest what took place. Your star player, Jaylen Brown, I don't know, he's playing video games on like a stream or something. I don't know what's going on there. But he's on one of those live streams, and here he'll tell you a little bit about Joel Embiid's game.
I mean, this is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might disagree. You know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news. This ain't, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Y'all can clip it up, like I said. Y'all can post it on these paid accounts that y'all, these bot, whatever. That's just my opinion.
The worst thing that happened in the game was streaming. These guys getting on a microphone and a camera after the game and just say, because they say this way I own the message and it's da-da-da-da. No, that's not why. You want a forum where you can say anything and no one's going to push back on you, because he knows if he had gone that far, I know he mentioned it in passing in his postgame presser, but if he goes into length like he did there, there's a room full of people like, what are you talking about? You blew a 3-1 lead.
That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I like Jaylen Brown. I think he's proven on that roster that he's a dog, right? That's just such a bad look. You blew a 3-1 lead, and you're out there talking about Joel Embiid flopping. just shut up. Like, just eat the L.
It's just a byproduct of why this Celtics team is so weird, right? From top to bottom, you have Brad Stevens, who didn't want to be the coach, who wants to be the GM. And then you got Joe Mazzulla, who's doing, starting Baylor Shireman, Ron Harper Jr., and Luka Garza. And then you have your best player who is out, but has, like, identity issues in the sense of, like, he's not his own guy, right? Like, he kind of takes from a lot of other people in Jason Tatum. And then you got Jaylen Brown, who had his best year ever, arguably, as far as a A1 lead guy, and then he goes out and does this. It's like, do we have a normal person in the building?
It's not the only excuse that Jaylen Brown was making 24 hours after losing the game and blowing a 3-1 series lead. Jaylen Brown also thinks the games are rigged.
If I had to say there's some referees that need to be investigated, just overall out of all the officiating, we had 3 of them in the last 3 games. We had, at top of my list.
You were up 3-1 against the Sixers, who are a punchline with playoff P and Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid, great game. I think 30, 10 and 5 in an elimination game. That's insane. But he was doing the bullshit. I mean, he started stretching it out. He was hurt. He came back in that game. He was clearly diminished. And we mentioned it on the live stream on Saturday night. The Sixers were doing the things down the stretch that would make you worry they were going to throw it up, right? And Maxey came to their rescue. It had to be Maxey that got it done.
Hey, you know what I was wondering? Did the refs tell the Celtics illegal to be inside the three-point line? You must only shoot threes, and that's all you can do. And if you dare step inside this three-point line, I will whistle you for a foul, 2 fouls, a technical foul. I don't know, but I'll whistle something, and the Celtics say, oh, my God, it's not fair. They get to go inside, but we only get to shoot threes. That's what the refs did,
And don't
right?
forget the challenge from Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, yeah, and when we foul a guy, we gotta tell. Man, that challenge still is blowing my mind. But, guys, I just want to say this. Because I've said this to Joe Dumars before. He's no longer the czar of discipline in the NBA. Now it's James Jones.
He's now giving away unprotected first-round picks.
Where's James Jones? Here's my camera here. James, whenever these guys come out here and start talking that, oh, it's rigged, oh, these guys need to be investigated, you put the people's elbow on him.
That's right, James.
They should put him under the jail.
James
right
Jones,
there.
my friend. I'll tell him. I grew up with him. I'll tell him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where at?
Stable Palm Elementary, dog.
Did he go to Santa Fe with you, bro?
I'll text James Jones right now. He'll write me back right away.
Let him know.
I will let him know.
Tell him.
That's my dog, James Jones.
Say, hey, people's elbow.
Based on what Mike said on the 30, 10, and 5 game, got a stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day.
Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are the first duo in playoff history to go for 30, 10, and 5 in a Game 7 ever.
Wow.
Nobody else has had 30, 10, and 5 as a duo outside of James Jones on mine, instead of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid.
I don't believe he would text you back right away.
He's my guy.
I'd love to see it. I agree with Amin. Put the elbow on him. I don't like this. And by the way, Jaylen Brown, go ahead and explain the math on why it benefits the NBA for the Celtics to go out there.
So
why,
true.
Why would it not be beneficial for it's better for the Sixers somehow for the NBA for them to advance to the second round than Boston? It's ridiculous.
You know what's good for our league, from those storied franchise to be eliminated immediately.
Now listen, right, exactly. By the way, the most storied franchise thing, that's another thing that Amin and I must say, park our cars in the same garage on. Yes, the youngs tend to bend the knee with the recency bias a little too easily, but the olds genuflect to history that really is mostly a mirage. The Bill Russell titles, I'm not invalidating all of it. Also, the skill set of Bill Russell is not transferable to the modern game. Oh, what do you think? You think about Shaq would struggle against Bill Russell? If you believe that, then you really are a crazy old fool. But also, Their series, their titles for Bill Russell Celtics that include best of 5 series. There's a best of 3 series somewhere in the mix, somewhere in there. The standard's just completely different. It's hard to even count it the same as you do a modern title.
Dave, I will refuse to join you in disparaging the great Bill Russell or any of those great players, those
Not
pioneers.
disparaging
the
him.
pioneers who built the game. All I say is thank you for your service and get back to that box in the attic as we talk about real championships that are won with a Larry O'Brien trophy, not that weird thing they used to put up back in the day.
I want to get back to all this. It's very, very exciting. What a weekend I had. Oh my God, the hate watching was in full effect, and I was hitting the jackpot every single night. All right, but I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, Chris. The new Miami Dolphins quarterback. He's called Malik Willis.
That's right.
He threw the first pitch.
People are freaking out, Zaz.
He threw, Dave, did you see this? He threw the first pitch at the Marlins game over the weekend, and here he is from the rubber. That's what you got to do from the rubber. Whoa.
And he threw it about, I'd say, 6 feet over where the right-handed batter would have been standing.
I think you're being generous.
Now, what if the ball had been egg-shaped? I think he would have thrown it better.
I mean, he threw it behind where the batter would. Like the catcher would have been able to catch it if he was 7 feet tall and he was standing at the backstop.
The stats suggest he's much better from further out.
Yeah. Dolphins fans are freaking out. The internet's having fun with this. I want to make everyone feel a little better. I have some examples here of other quarterbacks who have gone on to be good. We got Patrick Mahomes, for example, throwing out a first pitch, doing the same exact thing, basically.
Yeah, he's
leading, bad.
He's leading his guy.
And Mahomes was a baseball player, too.
So that's really bad.
No, but that's gas.
Amin's right. He's leading the receiver.
That's a good quarterback.
But then we have Joe Burrow here. This is not a first pitch, but this is just him throwing a baseball. He's aiming for this white thing, and he just can't do it.
Oh!
Like, it's just terrible. He's missing way left, can't get it, and it's just...
It looks like he's gripping the ball with all 5 fingers, too.
Yeah, look at his form. He looks like he's trying to throw a football. These guys are football players. What are we doing here?
And then it just makes me feel better, guys. Everyone relax. Take a deep breath, Dolphin fans. It means nothing.
Dave, you know about throwing that ball with just your first 2 fingers and your thumb?
I do know about it, and John Elway perhaps did it better than anyone, the multi-sport athlete, the throwing thing. In fact, as a scientist, a couple of years ago, I organized exactly this sort of thing. I had David Carr, high-end quarterback, and Cole Wright, former minor league pitcher, see who could throw a football better and a baseball better. We need to organize another one of those kind of things because it really is fascinating that you can't do both. Mike Ryan.
How are you not talking about those Cavs?
Big Game 7 win.
No, not those.
The press box has changed.
But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not
Dan
allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well,
That's
I
a
did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue. They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a
7
stairwell
seconds.
to write, man. It's
if it was 7 minutes, I'd get it. It was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and
Enough of him.
I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen,
Yeah,
I went
I
up
do
to him
appreciate
afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
Enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I gotta get home. I mean,
Yeah, we're on deadline, too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
that was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline, too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right?
Oh,
What happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what.
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
Way
much
too
longer
long.
than the actual
He's on
conversation.
deadline.
I always extend it a little bit. I mean, you guys
Can we
know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the
Don't,
interaction was
no,
like?
no.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably noticed seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings. The crown is yours.
That's got to be a record.
It's pretty good. So the hate watching continued into yesterday, but yesterday's Game 7 with the Stanley Cup playoffs, Mike, that was a weird watch. That was an interesting watch. Like Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. Game 7s in the NBA yesterday were horrible, all right? And it's a weird thing, right, with the NBA where I don't have the info in front of me, but it feels like Game 7 can be a dud a lot in the NBA, which is kind of strange, right? But in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's usually a great, great game. And the Stanley Cup was super compelling yesterday. The game was tight throughout, but holy shit, like the Canadiens had 4 shots on goal going into the third period.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I kept having to ask if the
And the game was
graphic
tied, by the
wrong.
way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they scored on one of their 4 shots through 2 periods.
It's a good shooting percentage.
But I mean, you've been there on the other side of that, where you're like, we're totally going to lose this game because it's somehow tied because we haven't done anything with our 20-shot advantage. And the game,
Right, there is. I mean, I don't think those two things are coincidental. I think you do. That we talk about the curse of Sposta, that when there are advantages in your favor, that it adds pressure to your shoulders that you're supposed to win. When you have 5 times the number of shots as your foe, you suddenly feel like, what is going on here? We're cursed tonight.
it's an interesting season in the NHL, and it was made interesting right off the bat with Barkov's injury, opening the door for a lot of new blood in the Eastern Conference, and I'm kind of enjoying seeing the Sabres get their shine, watching the Ducks beat Edmonton. It does feel like we're kind of in a transition phase here. The state of Florida is not going to be in the Stanley Cup final for the first time in, I think, 6 years, 7 years.
2019 was last time.
Good for the sport.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning's a story here because they've been bounced yet again in the first round.
4 straight years.
They've had this core that thought, like the Carolina Hurricanes, who it's so far working out, it's just insane that they only have to go through the Senators and the Flyers to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But that's a discussion for another day.
Do you think the Lightning will ever win a first-round series again?
This is wild. And like Kucherov had a good season.
Not the Wild. They lost. They had a different kind of game last night.
Kucherov had a good season, but again, doesn't feel like he's built for the playoffs.
He's been a bum in the playoffs.
Sorelli, Braden Point, these are guys who are riding downward trajectories, and it kind of feels like you got to do something now about this roster. You've been told 4 straight seasons you are not good enough.
I, on one hand, am resentful. I noticed this weekend, I became aware of it, I think, on Saturday. I was flipping around the TV, and there I saw some Stanley Cup playoff hockey, which, after the Penguins went out, I thought was kind of selfish for them to persist with this tournament. I thought I'd just shut it down. We'll come back next October and start fresh. But I also felt validated by the result of the Lightning and Bleu Blanc et Rouge game, because I always say different sports yield different outcomes. But in hockey, the thing about like vet savvy, you need to have vet savvy, been there, done that kind of thing, does not stack up against fresh, more skilled legs. And that's just what you saw. Just because the Lightning are the more well-known entity in terms of the individual players, give me the lineup that the Habs are rolling out there.
Dave, obviously we got the Kraken, we have the Mammoths,
right?
All new teams. Who are the Bleu Blanc et Rouge? Are they a new team in the Eastern Conference? Who are they?
The Habs.
Who are they?
The Canadians.
The
Who's
Habs and
Cabs?
Have-Nots.
I'm not going to say they're Cubs. I'm not going to say that their Stanley Cups are fraudulent, but as a reminder, I have to say this every time, they're even easier to pick apart than the Boston Celtics of the 60s. The Habs, does everybody understand that the original 6, you've heard of it, right, Tony? The original
Tony, give us
6?
the original 6.
The original 6, the Blues, the Predators, once the Atlanta Thrashers,
keep going.
the Panthers,
halfway.
the
keep going.
Wild,
yes, one more,
and the Anaheim Ducks.
He didn't name a goddamn one of them. He didn't get one of them right.
Chris, can you give us the original 6?
I'm not gonna take a quiz.
Go ahead. Too much dignity for Chris. He's not.
Sacre bleu.
Go ahead, Chris. Come on, go ahead. Try one.
Canadiens,
right?
The Maple Leafs.
Okay, good for
you. The Bruins.
Okay.
Come on.
These are now you are
Come
actually
on.
3-way.
Blackhawks.
Yes.
Great.
Come on.
Think about that region.
Yeah, you got to think about the region.
With the Blackhawks.
Rangers.
Yes.
Great.
One more, man.
Not that region, but okay.
Seattle Kraken.
That was it. You almost did it.
The Red Wings.
There you go. Here's the thing with the original 6. There were 6 teams in a major sports league in America, well, North America, won 6 total teams. How much pride do you have in, like, we won the title against 5 other teams? We were the best of the half dozen. But also, this went on for 25 years. And also, did you know that why did the Canadians win all those Stanley Cups versus the Rangers, who won, I don't think, any in the 25 years? It's because you had negotiating rights with natives from your hometown within a 50-mile
Really?
radius. Yes. So, of course, the Canadian teams, Toronto was also good. Detroit won Stanley Cups, too. Why? Because they were right next to the Canadian border. The Rangers and Blackhawks, who was playing hockey in those cities? Nobody is the answer.
Wow. So the Lightning blow it last night.
They blow it to the Canadiens, which they played in a Stanley Cup final, a weird one, when the Habs ended up winning the Western Conference because of COVID. They restructured everything, and that was 4 seasons ago. And now the Canadiens find themselves, they weren't very good since making it to that Stanley Cup. It was kind of a Cinderella team. Caulfield was still coming online.
This team's actually pretty good.
Yeah, if you look at their roster, what the difference is for Montreal is they drafted guys and developed guys, and now they're really, really good. And meanwhile, Tampa Bay just kept charting their course and sticking with their guys. They did, to their credit, they did get Jake Ensel, which was a big splashy acquisition.
Well, and the guy they let go that wouldn't pay, Stamkos, he's like still awesome, right? Didn't he have a great year?
Yeah, surprisingly living up to the contract that he got in Nashville, too. It's just really curious to see what's happened in both those franchises here. And really funny that it was a first-round Stanley Cup rematch.
I loved it. I was so happy. When
Lightning only counts for a half. That cup that they got in COVID is what was established, right?
Fine by me.
Okay.
So after the game last night, here's video, all right? Now, you may recognize the name. The Montreal Canadiens head coach is Martin St. Louis, all right? All-time great Tampa Bay Lightning player. His jersey number is retired in that arena where he, as the road coach, just won Game 7. Here's St. Louis in the Canadiens dressing room after the game.
This moment reminds me so much of, we've done this before. We're not leaving! The show keeps going!
It's got to be hard, right, if you're a Lightning fan? Because I feel like it's the equivalent of, I mean, the Lightning's two most beloved players, like it's St. Louis and Le Cavalier, probably, right? Mm-hmm. And it'd be like if Alonzo Mourning were the coach of another team that just won Game 7 at the Heat in a huge upset, right? Like, isn't that a weird experience then if you're a Lightning fan?
Zaslow, apparently you do not rank among society's great empaths, because less than a week ago, my favorite hockey team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, lost in Game 6 in overtime to a team coached by Rick Tocchet. Rick Tockett's name is scratched into the Stanley Cup underneath the words Pittsburgh Penguins. So I have experienced exactly what you're describing very recently, and it sucked. Now, what I have never seen, I off the top of my head, I've never watched a hockey game, let alone one that counts in the postseason, where a team has 4 shots on goal through 2 periods. 0 shots on goal for the entire period with the season on the line, and then they won the game. It's great. It is a crazy, it's an all-time loco outcome. And by the way, that happened on the same night in another Stanley Cup playoff game that the final score was 9-6. Craziness. You can argue that the NBA is more popular. Obviously it is. Much more fandom, much more loot behind it. But there is no argument, and it is becoming a pretty consistent pattern now. Amin can argue against this if he would like, but the NHL playoffs are definitely more entertaining than the NBA playoffs. And that, like I say, that's every year now.
The Orlando Magic have fired Jamal Mosley.
Oh.
Head coach.
Told
gone.
you.
That's one of the things that is certainly not being talked about in sports. That second half from Orlando in Game 6, where they had the Pistons dead to rights.
They were up 24 at home in the third quarter. How you not win that game?
I have a very controversial thought and opinion about what happened. Okay. I think Jamal Mosley, he's doing a great job. They're winning. They're kicking the Pistons' ass. This thing's over and done with. He sat down, and somewhere a shaman in the crowd went, Missoula, Missoula, and like smoke came out of his eyes, and he's like, I must only shoot threes. Timeout. Here, Bane, give it to Banchero. Another 3, please. Shoot threes. Only threes. Only or wait. Different theory. Did we look at who the ref assignment was in that game? It was probably the guys from Game 7 in Boston.
Yeah.
The same guys who say, if you dare step foot in this paint. 2 fouls. Technical foul. Something. Ejection. Something has to go wrong. That's it. That's the only 2 explanations. Either he was possessed by Joe Mazzulla or the same crooked refs that told Jaylen Brown, you're not allowed to do anything but shoot threes. We're doing that same game over there. Back to you guys.
I mean, my son, my 14-year-old son, he walked in the room on whatever night the game was with the Celtics, Saturday night.
I don't like how that starts. My son walked in on the room on, well, whatever night
Take
that
it
was.
easy. Saturday night, he walked
Typically,
in.
Zaz is the one walking into the room.
And he literally just says to me, he looks at the TV and he goes, why are all 5 players standing outside the three-point line? I'm like, that's how they play. They're stupid.
Believe it or not, that's actually, like, in terms of why are we starting this offensive thing, everyone out, we want the paint to be open to allow for our premier players to drive and get to the paint and not have to worry about congestion. The problem is when nobody on the court seems to figure out, like, oh, I'm the guy who should be driving and not worrying about congestion.
What do we take away from all the open looks that they missed? Because they shot 33% on wide open threes. And I kept looking to see, like, I know Paul George historically a great perimeter defender, but he's 36 years old, not the same guy. Maxey, not definitely known for his point of attack defending. Was Philadelphia doing something, or was this just a team that, quite simply put, missed their shots?
First of all, Paul George was spectacular defensively in this series. He was awesome, and for a guy, he's been a guy who's been a punching bag for a long time. He had a great series, and I think a lot of people need to recognize that. But they didn't have to do anything, Mike. The guy sat in the press conference and said, "Nope, we got the looks we wanted." That's how they play. They are programmed.
They did get the looks they wanted.
But I'm just saying, like, in basketball, we know that there is a level of balance to this, right? When Reggie Miller, a man who's literally in the Hall of Fame for shooting threes, says, oh, I think you guys are shooting too many threes, like, that is a warning sign. And I hate when people come like, oh, the analytics are, I'm going to tell you exactly, as a guy who did this, what the analytics say. The number 1 shot, highest expected point value shot, is a layup or a dunk. That's number 1. Number 2, a free throw. Number 3 is a corner 3. Number 4, above the break 3. And number 5, any mid-range shot, right? So this idea that the math tells you that's what gets so frustrated when Dan's like, the Celtics figured out the math. I'm like, no, Dan, that's not the math. To just keep shooting threes is not the math. You shoot the best possible shot. An uncontested shot is better than a contested one. And a shot at the rim is better than any other shot on the floor. And the second best shot is getting to the free throw line. And they openly thumb their nose at that and say, we're just going to shoot 1 million of these. And when they go in, we'll be champs. And when they don't, we'll lose to worse teams. We'll lose to the Heat, who are 8 seed. We'll lose to the Sixers, who are 7 seed.
And the Knicks were, like, a 5 or something?
But, I mean, is that a standard sort of what the best shot is, or does that ebb and flow based on how defenses work? Because I would like to see the thing that I just referred to with the NHL playoffs. Stylistic differences, the outcome of 2 games. One's 2-1, nail biter, the other one's 9-6. And I think it's potentially a good thing for the NBA that now you have this, aside from, it being Sixers Knickerbockers, beyond all that, you have potentially a nice matchup in the pivot, which is different than what we've seen for the last, half decade at least in the NBA playoffs, which is just teams jacking up threes and who's making them on a given night.
See, I feel this is why I always talk about the NBA as a PR problem, because you just said that, and we're talking about a team that has Joel Embiid. That's clearly not how they play, right?
I'm saying that with them winning, now it makes them relevant. The Sixers never do anything, so you can't really point at them and say, see, they're playing through the guy in the low post. Well, who cares? They don't win. They don't do anything.
Denver plays through the low post. They won a championship. Oklahoma City plays a lot in the mid-range where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander operates.
I love it.
They're not an awesome three-point shooting team. They're a good three-point shooting team, but it's hardly like the meat and potatoes of their offense. And so they're obviously the best team in basketball. I think there are vast stylistic differences across the NBA. They're all based on your talent. Who do I have? What kind of player do I have? If I have a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, guess what? We're shooting a bunch of mid-range shots. If I have a Joel Embiid, guess what? I'm going to the post. That's how basketball has always been. The part where I say, hey, these are the highest expected point value shots, I'm not telling you how to get them. I'm just telling you this is it. It's in the same way that if I tell you, hey, protein is good, I'm not telling you, well, you got to go to McDonald's every day and get a Big Mac. I'm saying you need to get proteins, whether you get that from McDonald's or you get that from the grocery store, whether you get that from Chipotle. Well, you would know. Wherever you go.
That's there's
low blow.
Whoa.
You're better than that.
I am better than that. I'm sorry.
Raise your game.
Let's be better. The NBA playoffs have been pretty great and pretty surprisingly great. If you look at the Eastern Conference, the worst series, air quotes, was New York Atlanta. That went 6, and that one individually
that was still an interesting series.
And it was an interesting series. There have been some surprises. I don't think anyone, like you were saying, that you'd be surprised if LA won a game. Here they are with the 2 big injuries. They're in the second round against OKC. OKC did what it was supposed to do, but Philadelphia over Boston, especially the way that we got there, shocking. A little disappointed that Denver's not in the next round because I wanted to see Jokic versus Wemby.
I'm not.
But, I mean, that was an upset. And to do it with injuries to their superstar, which is weird because you can only – that's weird, right? You can only talk about injuries when it's Jason Tatum and not Ant Edwards.
Yeah, first of all, I want to start with Denver. No, they don't deserve. They don't deserve. You guys had you talk about they didn't have Anthony Edwards. They didn't have Dante DiVincenzo. They didn't have Ayo Dosunmu. They literally had no guards. They had to turn to Terrence Shannon Jr. who hadn't played at all. And good
player though.
Well, Coach Finch is like, yeah, we figured out finally. Like it took us all year, but just give it to him at the top and let him just keep going left, right? As opposed to standing in the corner. So Minnesota is literally doing what Joe Mazzulla did by choice, which is I've got to try something because I don't have anything else. Joe Mazzulla's like, I've got other things, but you know what? Luka Garza, I feel good about this one. So, but Denver, they did not respect the opponent, and when the opponent ratcheted up, the intensity
and desperation,
and beyond
that they played with early on, that series turned when everyone started going neck first for these boards.
But Minnesota, we start with that whole the unwritten rule game, right? And it's he doesn't respect you. What part of this are you guys? Oh, how classless? What are you guys talking about? He's busting your ass. He's calling you guys bums before a game. By name, right? So, Denver did not come to me with the appropriate intensity to win that series, regardless of whether Anthony Edwards gets hurt or not. But there was a bad series, and it's going to shock
Thunder
people.
Suns was bad.
No, it wasn't. It was entertaining.
Whatever.
It was entertaining.
It was a sweep is what it was.
It was a sweep, but no, I'm going to tell you something. Detroit-Orlando was awful. Yeah. I get it. It went 7, and they came back from 3-1, and there's drama in the macro. But if you're watching those basketball games, it's literally just throwing rocks at each other. It's what's going on? It's I ran out of bricks, so this is all I got is more rocks. And they just throw it at each other. Yeah, that one was awful.
The arc of the series might be compelling to an NBA fan as a soap opera is compelling, but I don't think the individual games, very many of them, this spring, and again, I go back to last season and the season before that, I don't think NBA playoff games are all that satisfying to watch, especially in comparison to the Stanley Cup playoffs, which, by the way, I'll say again, they really should have pulled the plug on once the Penguins lost in Game 6. It would have been better to just move on. But either way, the other thing that's crazy is that we continue to we've been in it, the frogs boiling in the water for 30 years now or whatever it is. Almost literally, since Michael Jordan leaves the Chicago Bulls in 98, the Western Conference of the NBA is perpetually so much better than the Eastern Conference. It is wild, and the only thing that props it up is that it's Miami, it's New York City, it's Boston, and it's Philly that makes it relevant that it's this rolling conversation, these East Coast metropolises. Otherwise, what are we even talking about? It's really like JV, who's going to get through the JV side because all the heavyweights are on the other. And that's been the case for 30 years now. It's wild how this has persisted, right? We talk about, the AFC has all the good quarterbacks for the last 5 years. That's true. This has gone over 30 years. What gives already?
You know what, Dave? I would love to agree with you, except for the fact if we go back to this era of parity that we've had since 2019, we're a different champion every year. 2019, it's the Toronto Raptors. That's an Eastern Conference team. 2021, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. That's an Eastern Conference team, right? 2024, the Boston Celtics. That's an Eastern Conference team. And now this year, like we all expect it to be Oklahoma City, but the reality is only one team gets to represent a conference. You don't get any kudos or extra pats on the back. Oh, man, I had to play so-and-so in the first round. Nobody cares. When you get to the finals, that's it. And the team that wins, wins.
Whether that's true or not is a different discussion. But the reality is, if you go back to the 80s, it flips. The Boston Celtics, the Bird, McHale, Chief, and otherwise, had to run through some really rugged Milwaukee Bucks teams, and the Sixers were obviously always a tough rival, and Atlanta Hawks were good. On the other side of things, Kareem and Magic had to get through like Denver Nuggets, who scored a lot, like some decent Sonics teams, some decent Mavs teams. It was the advantage that the Lakers had when they would get to the finals to play the Celtics or otherwise was that they had some light lifting to do for the preceding 6 weeks, whereas the Celtics were running a gauntlet every year. So that you could make a case that whoever survives this Eastern Conference is better set because they're probably relatively fresh. They haven't been tested as much as whoever gets through this West.
Counterpoint, they still went to the finals and lost to the Celtics, right? The Lakers that had that easy road. To me, it's funny that you, NFL guy, wants to come at me when the 90s, there was like 18 million years in a row where the AFC just got its ass waxed every single time in the Super Bowl.
I'm not coming at it. I'm just pointing out the reality of it.
They did get their ass waxed.
You know about that ass wax?
Yeah.
Mano
I feel like you do.
Again,
who's
just
Tony pointing at
an
there?
easy low. We're better than this.
We need to workshop some better Zaz riffs, man. Like Tony, me and you, let's get over.
No, I'm just saying because Zaz is relatively hairless, so I feel like he knows about that ass wax.
You're not making it
That
better
is
by
not
talking
true
it
at all,
out.
though. I have
parking your car in the same garage?
I have a very manly chest
Yeah?
full of hair. That's
All right.
right.
Prove it.
Maybe I will when you're least expecting it.
We've done this before, but let me see your belly button.
No.
Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. Internet lives forever.
So Saturday was a huge day outside of sports also. And it was not great for people who had flights booked on Spirit. Because all of a sudden, Spirit decided we don't exist anymore. Can you imagine? You flew somewhere on Friday. You're going to fly back on Sunday. And all of a sudden, the airline, poof, like a fart in the wind, doesn't exist anymore. It's gone.
R.I.P. Spirit Airlines, man.
R.I.P. Spirit Airlines.
Budget Airlines going the way of the dodo.
$9
Dave
fare.
Damashek. I know
$9
you're.
club.
I was a $9 fare member for a very
Were
long
you?
time. Fort Lauderdale to Connecticut when I lived up at ESPN and up in Connecticut. That was the easy route back and forth, and I did a lot of time in the Spirit Airlines pen.
Wait, ESPN was booking your travel?
No,
through
I had to book
Spirit?
it myself.
Oh, okay.
Vis-a-vis poorly, from a budgetary standpoint.
I don't think you do via vis-a-vis.
Sunshine after the rain.
It was vis-a-vis.
Yes.
But he was saying via, but I said I was doing it
I
via.
appreciate that Amin has just so easily moved on. He's like, all right, somebody stole my Aziz Ansari, stole my Cash Patel impression.
Aziz does it better. I mean,
does
I'm
do it
sorry.
better.
No. Amin does it better.
Yeah,
I
did
being
not
a
say
singer
been
now.
worse.
That's it.
Yeah.
at
You
trying
don't
to
say
convey.
Aziz there, you say Amin there.
Amin,
Yeah.
but both A's.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Amin does his way better.
Much better. I saw that. Much better.
You know what? I disagree. I thought Aziz did a really good
No,
job.
you're wrong.
He does it. His cadence is a lot better than mine.
The eyes he needs to work
No,
on.
the eyes, I got him beat. If it was just silently step up to a podium, I got him beat. But the moment he has to do the voice, he's got me beat there.
Were you busy this weekend? Did they call you to do it?
You know what's funny? They did reach out, and I was like, "Oh, Game 7."
You were like, I actually think this should go to an Indian.
It's like we have a live stream planned if the Celtics lose.
I have dinner
can't do it.
plans with Zaz and his wife. Early bird.
Tony, did you ever have, since you were a $9 Fair Club member for Spirit that all of a sudden does not exist anymore, Did you ever have any bad experiences?
I had, to be honest, look, I'm gonna have a moment of transparency here. Like, I had a lot more good experiences with Spirit than I did bad, and I guess maybe I was just the lucky one. But there was a lot of times where I would go to the. This is also kind of me. I'd walk up to the Spirit, desk or whatever, right in front of the gate.
Avoiding the fist fights and stuff.
Yeah, I just walk by. Whoa, my bad. Come over. And then I'd be like, hey, look, $9 Fare Club member. I didn't see any big seats. If there are any big seats, which they only keep the first 2 rows of big seats in the thing. If there are any big seats, if there's any way that I can move up, I would appreciate that. I've only got, carry-on
And
bag.
they'd set you up sometimes?
And they'd hook me up sometimes.
Those are always sold, though.
I know,
like,
but
those are just available. Those go so quick.
Sometimes they didn't do it. And sometimes it did.
Did anyone?
The customer base was just as unreliable as the airline. That's what it was. Is you had people who just wouldn't show up. But that's the type of airline that you can sweet talk your way into getting a little bit more. And it's like, just go be nice. Why?
Because everybody else sucks.
Exactly.
Did everyone here have their turn flying Spirit at one point? Like, I guess the better way is, has anyone here never flown Spirit?
I did it once. I decided never again.
I mean, you flew Spirit?
I have flown Spirit before, and like Mike, I had the same reaction, like, I'm not doing this again.
Well, what triggered that?
Well, it was a bunch of things. Number one, like, I'm sure a lot of people did this thing. I fell for the fare. Like, oh my God, this is an incredible fare. It wasn't $9, but it was like,
no, it's not $9 either.
It was a good fare. I'm like, oh, great. And so then they were like, oh, you got a carry-on bag? I'm like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, that's going to cost you. I'm like, okay. Then I put the they do the little measurement thing, and it was like,
they're strict on that.
The handle was like popping out. Like, oh, nope. That's out. So now you got to pay. So now I have to pay again to have it checked in. And then it was like, okay, well, we'll get on this plane. Let me get a drink. Oh, that's going to cost. Like, so it was, by the time everything added up.
It's more expensive.
Also, like, I didn't want a middle seat, so I had to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
Like, by the time it all added up, I'm like, I could have just paid the same fare.
Totally.
And flown American and not have to deal with any of this stuff.
I did it against my will. I was dragged onto the plane by a friend that booked. Let's all be on the same flight.
Was he like pulling you by your legs?
Yeah,
How did he drag you?
It was like, I got this flight. It's a great fare. And we were flying to Atlanta. There was so many better options out there.
Delta, come on.
And the flight was delayed like 4 hours. I sat on a wood plank. It was
Those
just terrible.
seats, man. That's what I'll always remember is just like
They're
sitting
like cardboard.
on a skeleton of a seat.
I said never again, and I kept my word. Never again.
Dave, you ever flew Spirit?
I did once, and you know that the commercial that you see a fair amount of the time these days for the shingles shot, like you got to get it, like you don't want to get the shingles. I might otherwise just ignore that commercial, but I had the Spirit Air experience. A lot of people said, "Don't whatever happens, don't ever put yourself on a Spirit Air flight." And I was like, how bad could it be? Then I took one. Long story short, I've gotten my shingle shots.
So, to be serious and fair, this is awful news for several reasons. Number one, there are people who it's like, yo, even with all the extra fares that extra fees I mentioned, this is still the most cost-effective way to travel for them, and so it cuts out a low-cost option for travelers. But then number two, this whole thing. Shitstorm of air travel started when they deregulated the airlines, right? And said, hey, let the free market just dictate the prices. What we're seeing is a lot of consolidation. Now the United and American are talking about merging. And what happens is you've got a few big players that run the whole industry. Guess what they do? They jack up those prices, so the fares are going to get worse for everybody as a result of one less low-cost carrier.
And quality goes down, which is why you don't want all the power going just to a handful of corporations across the board. And in the United States, airline travel, if you look back to the seats like in the 90s, it has gotten progressively worse.
Oh, every seat had massive cushions when I was a kid flying.
And we are just so beaten down by an industry that treats us poorly, spies on our internet habits, and jacks up the prices based on our search. It's insane that you can be on a page for 5 seconds, talk to your family, be like, let's book this, and you get back, and because you didn't purge your cookies or whatever, the flight's $200
That
more.
happened to me a couple months ago.
It's
I told
insane.
you about that.
There are two industries in this country that need absolute reform. It's the ticketing industry and it's the airline industry. We should have never bailed them out. They should have been left to die, and we should all raise up bipartisan and say, this is not good enough. This is bullshit.
Can we start that here?
Why not? We're doing it right now.
We shouldn't be able to take it.
We are doing it right now.
Friends, countrymen, lend me your ears. Let's fight against the tyranny of oppressive monopolistic actions by Live Nation and American Airlines and Delta and United, I guess, for now.
It's an exercise in pain tolerance if you're a taller individual. You have to get lucky with who's sitting next to you. You have to get lucky. Oh, I want a window seat, but not the window seat that has it come out. The window has to be, I need that little indentation because I got to avoid the guy that's leaning on me in the middle seat. This is bogus. And how do you not have enough space in the overhead cabins? Did you not expect people to bring bags?
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to travel to the West Coast without a bag?
They do it on purpose, Mike, because they want you to check your bags in for exorbitant prices. These people are leeches, and we need to purge the people who are. You know what we need to do? We need to have a reinvestment into fast, high-speed rail in this country. That's right. Brightline, you're not just a murder train. You are a vision of the future. You are a way that
They're
we
also
can
on
do
life
travel.
support, by the way.
Yeah,
They're also on life
They're maybe going to go bankrupt.
I mean, go to any developed country and the rail system is so much better. Like, that's how you make things a little bit more competitive. But this is where this apolitical effort stops. Because at least the previous administration took strides to actually curtail some of these predatory practices from the airline industry and held them accountable if they were doing the thing.
Get your hand out of my effing face. What are you talking about, Mike? Of course. Listen, this is all Biden and Obama's fault, and let's just move on already.
In those other countries, they have high-speed rail. Here, we get railed. Wow, I only got one. Yeah, come on, guys. Let's start a revolution. I can't even start in this studio.
I did one of these fist pumps, but that wasn't over the air.
It's an audio medium.
I gave a smile. Again,
It's an audio medium.
No one's okay with this. Like, it's just like, all right, gotta travel. It's gonna be bad. And that's just the way that it goes. And it's going to be more expensive each time I do it. And I'm going to be less comfortable every time I do it. And I pray to God there isn't a delay. And they're going to treat me bad. And that's just how it is because there's no getting better because that's the way this industry goes. It just gets worse. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Over there, their seats recline. Here, we're in decline.
Welcome to the resistance, gentlemen.
Want to get away?
Ironic or not, you know, Woody Allen's movie Crimes and Misdemeanors, a real gem of a picture, and the message is that, you know, all sins are not punished, and I think that's the lesson of the last decade, right, Mike Ryan? I mean, the last decade is that you can commit a crime, and if you feel like you know, the ominous telltale heart in the floor or otherwise is coming to get you, like, oh, turns out, yeah. People shake their fists and tisk about it, but nobody ever actually gets in the way of doing it if you're rich and powerful
I have
enough.
to be completely honest with you. Stop listening at Woody Allen.
Over there, they have room in the overhead. Over here, they charge us for their overhead.
When we talk about over there, where are we talking about exactly? Because I've flown over there, and it's not great over there.
Have you taken the rail over there?
Well, we're talking about
Public
a place.
transportation is great. It's a great thing.
Where?
And it's where
Over there.
Over there.
But over there is much smaller than over here. Over here, we've got this much land size. Over there, they got
That's
this
always
much
the
land size.
excuse. But
it's not the excuse, it's the reality.
I mean,
of
look at over there. It can be China, and look at their rail system. They got a lot of land to cover over there too.
Yeah, they own all of it.
What? We don't own the United States? What are we doing? This is not
worse.
This sucks. Travel in this country sucks. You want more options. They all get together and limit your options. They give all the power to like 3 companies. Quality goes down, prices go up, and you just take it up your ass.
And we all know who they are, am I right?
Over there, they got first class. Over here, we're taking it up the ass.
Ah, turning it on a little bit, I mean. Good for you.
I probably took Spirit like a half dozen times. I flew it a handful of times. I'll never forget telling my boys a couple years ago we were flying Spirit. I said to them, I go, you won't believe the price I got. It's $49 a ticket. They thought we were sitting like on the wing. They couldn't believe it.
Over there, they serve you spirits. Over here, they take away our spirit.
Ah, all right. Not as good as the last one, but still. Stay on
like the
target.
5th one.
Stay on target. Stay on target. Good T-shirt.
Very sad day.
Mike Ryan, does it bother you at all, or maybe I'm wrong about this, does it get in the way, your hatred of Boston, that they probably are like Don Draper in the elevator with the other guy? Like, I don't think about you at all. I
have precious little evidence of that. I think.
You think Boston?
I think Miami's on Boston's mind all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I'm not asking that to get your goat.
Yeah.
I think if you
Did you not watch what happened when the Heat were kicking the tires on Damian Lillard
Okay.
I mean, it was an apocalypse. It was an
No,
apocalypse.
They came out in full force to make sure it didn't happen.
You know what I did when
Every Boston media member.
The thing that all the Miami media members did when Notre Dame was in the playoffs, like this was an actual thing that was, wrong.
To go through the Bill Simmons prism, he doesn't hate on many teams more than the Heat.
Bill Simmons once a year gets scared of the Heat, even when they're not good. There's
But
always
overall,
a moment in the season.
Boston hates Philly and New York
No.
City more than it does Miami.
Yeah, but they don't get to be
sports
racist
towns.
against those towns.
Yeah.
The way that they get to be racist with Miami.
That's right.
It's like the scene in Pretty Woman where Jason Alexander, who you might know as George Costanza, shows up and he tries a proposition. What's her name? Damn.
Is that your Cash Patel?
No. Yeah, this is my nasally Bill Simmons.
Is that your Aziz?
Yeah. Pretty good.
I saw the picture of Aziz over the weekend. I'm like, Amin does it better.
He does the voice better.
Tell me you turned it down.
Yeah, if you put it on mute, shit, I got that guy.
No.
beat.
I mean, you had to have turned the job down.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, look, they offered, and I said this should really go to an Indian role.
Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids would make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the free fab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one.
So we have two series getting started tonight. We have Game 1, Knicks and Sixers this evening, and also Game 1. Is it the
Wolves and Spurs tonight?
Thank you, Tony. Wolves and Spurs.
By the way, Ant questionable. Already been cleared for basketball-related activities.
Okay, so we're going to see him soon.
So there's a chance that we may see him tonight, may see him Game 2.
All right. Madison Square Garden's going to be a fun environment tonight. I mean, I know the Knicks don't get much love here, nor should they, but I do like watching the games.
Isn't the answer, by the way, to the mystery or the one that I have asked about why Miamians hate Boston, isn't it in part because so many snowbirds from New York City are here? Isn't the percentage of New Yorkers way higher than Bostonians down
Much
here?
higher.
That
Much
probably is part of the reason, right?
No, they're racist.
Yeah, that's a good
reason. And so, like, the reaction to the stuff that we do is always outsized because of the tinge and sometimes overt racism.
Hating the race is a good reason to hate.
No, we were on WEEI once. Like, I know how it goes. I know what the mentions were like. I know what the on-air host said. And so, like, we hate them, not just because their teams were immensely hateable, but because of how they talk about us and to us.
You got it?
You get it?
I do get it.
Do you
it's
like
interesting.
Boston, Dave?
I don't think what I don't think is, obviously, maybe I personify this. I don't think most of America knows that there is Boston, New England at large. The paradox of that region of the country is, of course, it's also the home of the Kennedys, and so that.
I think it's more of a casual racism, which is why they don't dwell on it. They just don't know why they hate Miami. There's just something about it, and
It's the home of the Wasps and everything else up in New England. I don't perceive that Bostonians have directed more, sort of hate or otherwise at Miami than they have at the rest of the country.
I think what you're trying to say, tell me if I'm wrong, is that nationally people don't think of Miami-Boston as a rivalry. If you just say, like, what are the
that's
best...
the bottom line. That's what I'm getting at, I guess. Yeah.
Let's bring aboard David Dennis Jr., senior writer for ESPN's Anscape. He's the author of the award-winning The Movement Made Us, A Father, a Son, and the Legacy of a Freedom Ride. David Dennis Jr. is also my pal. Good to see you, David. David, what is your number one hate watch in sports these days? I did some unbelievable hate watching this weekend. I was rewarded every single night. The Bruins season ended Friday. The Celtics season ended Saturday. The Lightning season ended Sunday. I'm on cloud 9. Who's your top hate watch these days?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for leading me in with the Boston is racist. This does really great things for my race baiting persona on the internet. This has been great to sort of lead into that. Happy to join you guys. Happy to talk about all this stuff. Hate watching. Let's see. For me, being in Atlanta as a Saints fan, it is really cool to walk the streets and see the pain that Atlanta fans feel. On a day-to-day basis. Like, that is really something that I love to experience. So it kind of trickles over sometimes. Like, I am sort of agnostic about basketball teams, but I will say that walking around State Farm Arena and seeing people in Falcons uniforms while their team was losing by 50 points in the first half it sort of brought a tear to my eye to see people of Atlanta suffering.
But it's not as if you've had a ton of joy as a Saints fan. Like, you don't get to parade around, hey, look at me.
I absolutely can. Saints won the Super Bowl, and the Saints were never expected to ever win a Super Bowl in the history of ever. We're riding on that it's like when you have a guy who just kind of drinks through the semester, and you still get a higher score than the person who studies all the time. that's basically what happened when the Saints won the Super Bowl before the Falcons. Like when you drive through on the way to the Superdome, there is still a scoreboard that says 38-3 or whatever on that is there. Like that 28-3. That is still there when you go to the Superdome. Like there is so much joy in having won a Super Bowl and the people in Atlanta not having that.
David, how many times, or did you ever have the opportunity while they were still alive to fly Spirit Airlines?
I flew Spirit Airlines one time exactly, and shout out to because in general, I don't want to make fun of like the sort of affordable thing that goes out of business because I feel like we need more of those. But I will say it was like a Greyhound in the air. It was kind of like being thrown in a paper plane. If I could just be in a paper plane and they threw me from Atlanta to Baltimore, that's kind of how it felt. Like you felt speed bumps in the air. I don't know how it felt like you were running over potholes and speed bumps, but somehow I was able to do that. But shout out to Spirit. They should still be around. We should still have affordable flights because now everybody's going to raise the prices.
Now, you may recognize, David Dennis Jr.'s maiden voyage on the Dan Le Batard Show here. You may recognize him from, you see him on television, maybe you've read him, and you may have also seen him on First Take recently where you said you don't eat any candy.
Oh, candy's disgusting. Get candy out of here. Now, I want to make something very clear. Chocolate is different. There's chocolate, there's like Snickers, Butterfingers, M&Ms.
So that's not candy?
That is like a chocolate. Like if it's in the Hershey metropolitan area, I will eat it. Candy, the Skittles, Twizzlers, disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Get it out of my face. I hate it. It's something that I ate as a kid because I felt like I should like it. Then I realized that I freed myself from the shackles of thinking that I should eat candy because like that's what they tell kids to eat. It's all disgusting. Get it out of here.
Was there one candy flavor that really set you on your way down this dark path and out of fruit flavored? Because really, you've identified the two food groups, the chocolate flavors and then the fruit flavors.
Yeah.
And for me, the most off-putting fruit flavored attempt to mimic a fruit is banana. How say you?
Yeah. Same. I mean, I used to try Spree as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, what is Spree? Like, what is that? It's disgusting. And then now laters, like, the kids were like, oh,
now
like a now later, give me the pink lip. They're disgusting. Get it all out of here.
They
I don't
seem
want
like food even, really.
It's not even food. It's just pure sugar nonsense. It's not even a flavor. Like, what is the flavor that you're actually ingesting when you're tasting these disgusting candies? Give me chocolate or give me nothing. Get it out of here.
Well, what about when you go to the movie theater? You don't get candy?
Bunch of crunch.
No, you get M&Ms or you get popcorn and you sneak in M&Ms because I'm not paying $4.50 for a bag of M&Ms. You sneak in M&Ms and you pour them in the popcorn.
Preach.
Shake up the popcorn.
This guy knows what he's talking about, Zaz. Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
I go Reese's Pieces, but same strategy.
Same idea. Popcorn and M&Ms undefeated. Popcorn and chocolate undefeated. Get candy out of here. Why are you? No, give me no candy. Sit there. What kind of grown man? You gonna sit there and watch Oppenheimer and eat Skittles? Come on now. Like, be a man. Eat an adult thing.
Because Jolly Ranchers are very nice. I didn't appreciate your attack. It wasn't necessary to mention Spree, although we do agree that any candy, when you have multiple fruit flavors, you don't need both lemon and lime. I've heard and argued with people who say, I actually like the lemon one. And I think you're not really living. You're just surviving if that's the case. What kind of weirdo are you that in a world that includes cherry and strawberry and otherwise that your favorite is lemon? But why the double down on lemon and lime? That's a waste of time. That's a waste of space. How say you, David Dennis?
I agree. A waste of time. A lot of just redundancies there. Like, why do you need that? I don't understand why you need that.
Now,
David, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, play the same position. Trade one of them.
David, we brought up the movies, and this conversation came up over the weekend in my group chat about the idea of going to see the double feature. You go to see a movie, and like, you know what? I'm going to watch another movie while I'm here. Would you pay for the second movie ticket as well, or would you just pay for the first one and then get another one on the house?
Okay, so this is the nomenclature here that you're looking for is what we call plexing. Where I'm from. And so plexing, you go to a movie, you see another movie happening, you roll into it. You time it the right way. You go back in the day, you open the newspaper, see when the movie's going, go in, you go into the next one. Now, as a law-abiding citizen at my old age, I would go out there like Doomsday and Dune, right? Aren't they coming out the same day? I would have to I'd make sure that I paid for those things, especially Doomsday. Fantastic Disney product that is coming out in movie theaters. If you had to pick one, I would pick Doomsday over Dune. But make sure you pay for those tickets.
I did the triple header one time, sneaking in, only paying for one movie and sneaking into the others. I could tell you all three. I remember the three.
What were they?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Assassins.
Okay. Banderas, yeah.
Banderas and Stallone.
Stallone,
right?
yeah, with
That's
the glasses.
Okay. All right.
Nick of Time.
Oh, great walk-in monologue in that film.
Can you do it?
Let me look it up.
It's a good scene. All right, you look it up. Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken. It's a good scene. And the third one, Jade.
Oh, it's a
Caruso.
That's the movie he left NYPD Blue for with Linda Fiorentino. Was Nicolas Cage also in it? I think he had a small role.
No, I know what you're thinking of. That's the boxing picture.
Oh, okay. But this was David
Snake
Caruso.
Eyes was the
Snake
boxing
Eyes,
picture.
So watch what I did back in the day. I'll never forget this. I went to go see one of those Superman movies. I think the one with Brandon Routh, right?
Yeah.
But I got there too early, and I was like, I had 20 minutes to kill, so I said, let me check out this movie. It's called The Breakup. And I sat there. And
Awful movie.
What?
Horrendous movie.
One of my favorite movies of all time. You
Horrendous
shut the
movie.
hell up. You shut the hell up, Zaz.
You know what?
So
then you've
good.
never been in a real relationship. That's
That's a real
movie.
relationship. That's what it's like.
Horrendous movie.
It's
Why would I
awful.
want to do the dishes?
Exactly. What my baby wants, my baby gets.
The soundtrack is what spoils that picture. It would be better if it had a more of a romantic
It
comedy
wasn't,
vibe
but
to it.
it wasn't me. It was the little guys
Awful
with the big hearts.
movie.
David Dennis, is that, if
my
I'm
story.
not mistaken? Well, you
My
were
story.
going into a story?
My
I thought you
story.
would finish your story about seeing a double feature.
No,
It's
it wasn't even a
complete.
double feature. 'cause
You
I
were
went-
ranting about strawberries earlier.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about, bananas and stuff.
Let him
All
in finish.
So I went and I watched like the first 30 minutes of like, this movie's amazing, but Superman's about to start. So I'm like, oh, fine. I went back and I watched Superman. I'm like, this movie sucks. It finished. I walked out. Guess what was starting? The Breakup. So I went back and I watched it.
David Dennis, if I'm not mistaken, over your right shoulder there, I see Vader. Is that is Vader?
Right here?
Right there. Yeah. I think
That-
it's like you
this
don't know the power of the Force. If I'm not
this
mistaken.
is not Vader. This is what was the Jedi from the Obi-Wan, the black woman who was there that everybody hated because obvious reasons. That I got a figure of her.
Really?
She's over my shoulder.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Kylo. I would have thought then Kylo.
Or even
Ren.
Kylo Ren, it looks like it could
Not
be.
Kylo Ren. I have a Darth Maul to my left.
Okay.
But over here, I forgot what her name was. But
Yeah, you don't even know Homegirl's name.
Don't even know homegirl's name. Don't know her name.
Darth Maul got
Don't-
cut in half by Scott.
Yeah, it got Darth Maul.
by
Darth Maul
Kenobi.
there.
Is it just Maul now?
David Dennis.
Drop the Darth. It's a lot cleaner.
With the fourth upon us and Amin wearing his Stay on Target T-shirt that is grand. What is the best way to approach if you were to see a triple feature or a quadruple feature, either of Star Wars on May the 4th? What is the correct way to watch it? Do you watch them in order, in chronological order? Do you take some movies just straight out of the mix and jump in at Rogue One?
Wait, hold on. While we're there, while we're zoomed in, that is a Michael Jordan autograph upper deck number to 5. Behold. Got out of a pack about 12 years ago.
Where do you live?
Get it. There we go. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
Live in
Don't even worry
Atlanta,
about
huh? Okay.
it. Don't even worry about
Buckhead
it.
or
Putting up numbers when I'm breaking, baby. Putting up numbers. I'm trying to be a card influencer. So zoom in on that, please. Trying to be one of those guys that break. Anyway, sorry, there was a question about Star Wars. Sorry.
I was just soliciting your thoughts on how best to watch it. And Zaz, if you have a good thought on this, take it away.
Zaz is not a movie guy. Don't ask Zaz.
That's not true. I'm a great movie guy. Just because I know that Breakup's a horrendous movie and you're offended for some reason doesn't make me any less of a movie guy. Go ahead,
Come
David
with
Dennis
the kick
Jr.
drum. Come.
You got to do the cut. You got to do what was the cut. You got to do start with episode. You got to start with episode 4, 5, go back 2, 3, and then you go 6. That's the only way to do it.
Whoa.
1, you don't really have to watch. Don't really have to watch 1.
I agree. I think
You don't
can
need. You
jump
don't need
in.
Jar Jar.
Well,
you
I
don't need
think
that.
I would advocate for including Rogue One in there, though. I would say Rogue.
Yeah, I would say you got to watch some Rogue One.
Two
During the
New
pandemic, I went through all of it, and then there's 12 animated episodes you got to watch. Like there's like probably like 12 across all of the like.
There's a lot more than 12. Hold on now.
Well, yeah, so yeah, like maybe like there's like some that are essential. When like Ahsoka, what's his name? Like there are some with her that are essential. There's just like some essential animated episodes you got to watch too in the mix.
Can I just tell you real quick, David Dennis Jr., Tony is very offended that you are not remembering the names to some of these characters.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Like I got the
I should have been.
I got
should
her.
have been ready.
What's her name? You know her name. Everybody hates her, but you know her name, right? Everybody.
She's featured next to Michael Jordan, and you don't know her name.
Don't know her name. You got. Does anybody else know her name? Do y'all know her name?
We don't have a figurine of her.
Well, but it's still, she's there. She's there. It's important.
I can't see it. Zoom in.
Now, Mike
Just say
Ryan.
Vader so we can move on.
Now, Mike Ryan, do you need me to set you up here to complete this scene from Nick of Time?
So I put a bullet in his eye. Then I put 2 more in him just to make sure. Now, that was somebody that I loved. I loved him. But I got the call, and I put him down like a sick animal. So if you have doubts about what's going to happen if you don't deliver, let me tell you something. I'll make gravy out of your little girl.
What? It's a good movie. That's a great scene. That's an excellent Christopher Walken.
I loved him.
That's an excellent job at
David Dennis, I don't know if you saw the Kentucky Derby. If you had a thoroughbred, what would you name it?
I would name it Black Jedi from Obi-Wan show.
Bit of a long one coming down the stretch, right?
Unidentified.
Little long coming down the stretch. Unidentified.
Female
Black
Jedi, probably a Sith because she's wearing all black, but I don't know what her name is.
Can I tell you, David Dennis Jr. gave me some great advice. I do
take it away.
I do ESPN radio shows with David every now and then, and it was, I don't know, it was like a few months ago where my family was out of town, so I was a bachelor. I was by myself, and I didn't know what to do for the evening. It was like a Sunday night, and David Dennis Jr. gave me the great advice. You remember it, David, to take myself out on a date. And
take yourself out.
Can you explain here? Because I love this, and this is something that I will do any chance I get now.
You have an empty house. You take yourself out to a nice steakhouse and just enjoy yourself. Like if you go with the missus, right? It's probably like $250, maybe $300. You go to a really nice steakhouse. You go by yourself, you're like $150 and you're out, and you eat like a king. You eat like your majesty when you're there. It's cheaper. It's great. You can dress up if you want. Sit at the bar. Like go to the bar so you don't have to like ask for a table or wait or anything. If they got a TV at the bar, that's even better. You just dine incredibly well, get an extra drink, maybe a dessert because you don't have to worry about how much it costs because it's half the price. That is the thing to do every time you have an empty house. I'm on the open table. Resi, let me see what's out there. Go sit at the bar, figure it out because I got to get my points from open table.
I went straight after doing the show with David. I went over to Steakhouse. There's a nice steakhouse right down the road from me. I got dressed up. Maybe I even put on a spritz of cologne. I don't know. I don't remember it perfectly. And I went and I sat at the bar. I watched some sports. I ordered myself a drink. I got the big cube. You know, if you're by yourself, it doesn't even matter if you're by yourself, actually. I don't know why you would, get a different kind of ice. If
you get more dressed up to date yourself than your wife?
Whatever.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. It's yourself. You go out there, you put on a nice little something, you want to feel a little cute, go out there, and then if you get a little double look from the ladies, you come back home and you say, hey, I was outside, and ladies are kind of looking at you.
Maybe I'm trying.
Remind her what you got.
That's right. Maybe I'm gonna be Mr.
You're lucky to have a hot piece like this walking around the streets by himself.
Maybe I'm gonna be Mr. Steal Your Girl that night.
There you go. You never know. It's all, you got to get dressed up. You get dressed up to go by yourself, of course.
Why are you looking at me like that, Jeremy?
I just can't believe that you're more concerned about impressing yourself than your wife.
Like I told you, I could be Mr. Steal Your Girl that night.
Is that really the plan?
It's about other people's wives that he's interested in.
Right.
So he's trying to turn the tables.
Okay, so you want to impress other people's wives more than your own.
Did you bring your tablet to dinner?
I'm just taking track here.
Like tablet time at the
tablet time.
Oh, that would be a great move to really sell it to the man in the mirror as a part of your dating yourself, is to send a drink to a table occupied by a couple. That would be what a move that would be. This is for the lady from The Gentleman at the Bar.
I get it.
When she looks up at you, you're pointing at her like this. You give her this move while her fella is looking. You just give her this move.
He's
terrible
pointing at the
move.
camera.
I get it though.
That's a
You have
feels like a
Zaz, who's
restraining
always
order.
a cuck in his own relationship.
How dare you?
And so he's just
Oh.
trying to make other people the cuck.
How dare you?
Oh.
David Dennis.
Oh.
I like
David
this
Dennis
move.
Jr. I'm not going to explain that to you because it's
He
hearsay.
thinks you're a cuck. He thinks you're a cuck, Zaz. You got to tell him.
Everybody knows, if there's one thing everybody knows about me, it's that I'm never going to be a cuck. Stop sending me pictures of the empty hotel rooms, all right? I'm empty hotel chairs. That is not for me. I don't like that, all right? Stop it. It's annoying already at this
I
point.
feel like we should define what a cuck is for the audience. For those
We
who
all
know.
know.
They're very
Everybody's
aware.
Well
Billy
aware.
Crystal enters your bedroom.
Yeah.
And you pull up a chair and you watch Billy Crystal.
I didn't
go to
watch. I left the
absolute
room.
town.
I didn't want to see it. I left.
You can watch a clip of Scott Jennings talking to Adam Mockler for another example.
Billy Crystal.
Topical.
David, what did you make of Jaylen Brown and the excuse machine the very next day after Game 7 when the Celtics choke away a 3-1 series lead and he decides to do like a video game Twitch stream bullshit and essentially says that the NBA's rigged?
I applaud Jaylen Brown. I want to applaud Jaylen Brown for this one thing. Is that I think we were getting too close to the Celtics being likable. Like we were getting really, really dangerously close to like the Celtics being a really good story, with Jason Tatum coming back from his injury, fighting through it. You had like your Pritchard, feisty gym rat, first to get there, last to leave type of guy, and then we were starting to like really kind of like this Celtics team. Jaylen Brown said, "I'm doing this for the culture, and I'm going to remind everybody why there are reasons to hate the Celtics. Thus, I'm going to go on Twitch and do a Zapruder film of flopping, and I'm going to admire myself blocking an Embiid shot." It was just such beautiful self-sabotage that now we have good reason to hate the Celtics again. It's beautiful. It was to me a public service by Jaylen Brown to make the Celtics so hateable again. It was beautifully done.
I want to bring up something else, NBA, that we haven't even talked about yet on this show here, David. Did you see in The Athletic over the weekend, once the Rockets were eliminated by the Lakers, which, by the way, I mean, yes, I obviously have to raise my hand. I said the Lakers were not going to win a game.
Classy,
in the
like Jerry
postseason.
Orr back at the end of Dirty Dancing. When you're wrong, you say you're wrong.
That's right.
Good for you.
Although I think Jerry Orbach was a good guy, he didn't want the creepy 35-year-old dancer dancing with his 16-year-old daughter. Grinding on her. I think Jerry Orbach was the hero in that movie. Nonetheless,
Jerry Orbach also in Woody Allen's Crimes and Misdemeanors. How about that?
Nonetheless, the Lakers eliminated the Rockets over the weekend, and The Athletic, David, reported that Kevin Durant's, alleged burner account, that there was, quote, significant distraction that was never truly resolved, end quote, in the Rockets locker room. What do you make of that?
Well, yeah, that's it was clearly unresolved. You could see it on the court that it was unresolved. Like Kevin Durant, you can do this with the Warriors, and the Warriors will shrug it off, and we're going to go win a championship, and it's going to be fine. We kind of know who Kevin Durant is. You can't do this with a bunch of young dudes, man. Like, you cannot do this with them and, like, talk crazy to them and have burner accounts. And, like, it is going to impact that locker room. It is going to impact how people treat you. And that team fell apart in large part because of how Kevin Durant was doing. Like, it absolutely makes sense.
Finally here, David Dennis Jr., are you up to speed with Euphoria? Have you watched the most recent episode?
I didn't watch last night's episode of Euphoria.
Me neither.
As you know, Zaz, me and Mina Kimes, we got viewer discretion. So we have our pod that we talk about shows. We're talking about Euphoria because the audience demanded it, and I feel like they owe us for making us endure this season of television of Euphoria. However, I've decided that Euphoria is, and Zaz, I know you're familiar with this movie. I know you're familiar with the movie Belly, Zaz. How many times have you seen Belly?
No, I don't know what that movie is.
He's not a movie
Okay.
guy. I keep saying this.
All right. Euphoria is basically White Belly. Like, it looks really nice, but it doesn't make any sense, and it's just a bunch of, like, really beautiful scenes that absolutely make no sense. It's just nonsense. That's basically what Euphoria is.
Did you guys cover DTF St. Louis?
I don't think we've talked about it.
Did not cover DTF St. Louis. Did not. We sort of missed out on that. Watched a few episodes. It was a little unhinged, but did not watch it.
I think that's. I'll just say, long story short, that was a good call. I don't think you needed to indulge that series.
Oh, Weebay's in this movie, Belly.
Yes. Also, DMX, Nas, T-Boz, Africa's far. Famous line. Like, it's
Africa.
Where Nas goes to Africa, does not specify what part of Africa. He just goes to Africa. Spoiler alert.
They don't even show us. They don't even show us.
Don't
He
even
just
show
says,
us. They
and
don't
then
show
I
us.
went to Africa, and it was beautiful.
They showed Times Square where he was talking about Africa. He was like, "This is like I went to Africa and it was the best place ever." We don't know where he went, and he just fled to Africa. Method Man is in it. Ja Rule's on the soundtrack. Great soundtrack. It's just a classic. It's what we call a hood classic, Zaz.
All right.
I know you've seen a lot of hood classics.
I love the hood classics.
Guys don't know about hood classics.
You can also check David out. He hosts Anscape's digital NBA show, Ball Up Top. It is available on Anscape's YouTube page. Excellent job, David. Good to see you, man.
All right, catch you guys later. Thanks for having me.
I got to catch up on Euphoria. I've never seen the show, but I got to catch up on this past week's episode.
Zaz, you are unbelievable.
Why?
David says, I have a podcast with Mina Kimes where we review shows.
Yeah.
Damashek asks, have you guys reviewed DTF St. Louis? And your dumbass says, no, I don't think we talked about that. He's not asking you.
That's true. That's true.
He's asking the guest.
It's true. Also,
sometimes you just got to sit back in that chair and watch the action play out in front of you.
Yeah.
Are you looking at? Why are you eyeballing me like that?
I'm eyeballing Zaz.
You are, because I feel like your eyes are shifting over at
I was
your
making
old pal
a cuck
Dave.
joke, and I don't think Dave got it.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I did miss the cuck joke. I'm sorry about that because I'm too anxious to ask this question. Which is the more fraught proposition among an all-time great in his sport? Kevin Durant coming into your locker room or Aaron Rodgers coming into your locker room? I think they're kind of the same guy, right?
No, they're not.
It's Rodgers.
No, they're not.
It's not remotely close. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers is worse
Yes.
to
Of
have
course.
in the mix?
Yes, because like you can say a lot of things about Kevin Durant, but
still
nobody
really good.
nobody questions like his dedication to the game. Like I understand what you have to deal with Kevin Durant, and it's all hearsay about social media behavior and some stuff that's out in the open. But Kevin Durant loves ball and has never really impeded a certain team's chance to win.
I mean, I think Aaron
by
Rodgers
giving
loves
a lesser
ball.
effort.
I think he wouldn't make that.
Also, Kevin Durant never walked in and said, you guys should be trying ivermectin or whatever. Like that. Like there's a batshit crazy element to Aaron Rodgers that whatever you want to believe about Kevin Durant, I think a lot of that stuff is overblown or whatever. But even if you were to believe all of it's true, it's still fairly mundane stuff. It's just like, oh, so he likes to tweet. Whereas Aaron Rodgers is a guy who has problematic thoughts on life.
I hear you, but I also think with Kevin Durant, who I'm a big fan of and who I long argued is a top 10 all-time player and all of that, it is weird that there's plenty of evidence. I mean, how many NBA teams has he played on? What is, in comparison to in different sports with free agency operate differently, but I mean, has any all-time great played for as many teams, as had to bounce around as much as Kevin Durant has?
Moses Malone.
Not really. He goes from the Rockets to the Sixers and dominates
the Nets,
for the Sixers.
the Bullets. Like the guy played for a lot of teams.
I'm not talking about Steve Carlton at the tail end of his career, bounces around and jumps into.
He
a
was
bunch
an
of
all-star.
situations.
What are you talking about?
Moses, I'm talking about in his prime. He is a Rocket star,
I
but
think there's
kind of
something to
lost,
that.
and then goes
Hold
to the
on.
Sixers. In his prime is the missing piece.
Hold on.
and
In his prime, it's 2026. He was drafted in 2007. Like, you're giving him the ultimate.
No, but he's still really good.
Again, he's really good, but we can't. Like, I brought up Moses Malone. He's like, oh, that was the tail end of his career. It's like, he was an all-star. It's like, we're talking about prime of the career. I'm like, this is his 19th year. This guy's already played way more than Moses ever played. So, like, we have to keep it in perspective that, yeah, he's still great. That's awesome. But we can't act like, oh, he's some vagabond or something.
Well, and everything that you're talking about, right, is post-Golden State. Because nobody was talking about Kevin Durant as like a problem child in Golden State. He just tried to leave. That means it's everything post-30 in his career, right? He joined Brooklyn. He was a 32-year-old. I don't think he was the problem in Brooklyn. We know what was going on there with all the different personalities. So now, all right, move him to Phoenix. He's 34, 35 years old when he's in Phoenix.
Well,
and
I
even
think-
there, he's not really a problem child.
Well,
It
why
just doesn't work out.
But also when he's on the Dubs and a part of a dynasty, and arguably, with all due respect to Steph Curry, is the straw stirring that drink for a season or two. His demise there, I'm fuzzy on even what happened.
Well, it
Why-
wasn't a lot of fun. Like, it seems like basically he
Okay.
got there, they won a bunch, nobody gave him any credit for what he was doing there. He decided, I don't want to deal with all these crazy personalities, and I'm going to go do something else.
Let me go to Brooklyn
with the rest
with
of my
Kyrie
career.
and James Harden.
Those were his guys.
You know, and I hate to get inside the mind of someone that I don't know, but the vibe I get is this guy is a basketball purist to the highest order, meaning he was playing a certain way in Oklahoma City, and it clearly wasn't working and was never going to work. He looks at Golden State, and everyone says, oh, you went to the best team. I'm like, no, he just went to the team where they played a style of basketball. It's like, oh, that intellectually stimulates me. He goes there, he does that, like Jeremy said, didn't get any credit despite being spectacular there. So now he's on to the next intellectual challenge.
Okay, but that's a weird little note that you're skipping over, which is he didn't get enough credit.
This dude sat at
He's
a
worth
press
$100 million. He's the best star on he's the biggest star on a dynasty. Like, I'm not getting enough credit here.
That's the
need
point.
To move.
Second biggest
That
star.
sounds like Aaron Rodgers to me.
That's first of all, that's the point. He wasn't the biggest star. He may not even the second biggest star. Remember they had the championship parade, and it's like, yeah, well Kevin, you weren't. Like they were literally making jokes about it, like on the podium.
I get it, but what you're talking about is his ego.
The other guy that you're trying to compare him to sat there at a press conference and shamed people and tried to lie about getting vaccinated. Like,
don't look at me for defense of the other guy. I'm saying they're similar.
You're trying to compare two different guys.
Which was better?
Trying to compare two different guys.
Pretty well.
Like
okay.
Rodgers,
aged greatly.
Well.
Ivermectin's actually very good.
Rodgers is on a different plane as far as kind of toxicity.
I think it is people who fancy themselves as pseudo-intellectual or a little bit smarter than they're getting credit for. Don't pigeonhole me as a dumb jock kind of vibes, right? Puff your chest
They're
out.
also both all-time great that you could argue both, even though Durant won 2, right?
Yeah.
They underachieved. Yeah.
That right, and operate with an oddly brittle ego. I understand that Tom Brady and Michael Jordan played with a chip on their shoulder and manufactured reasons to have to work. I'm going to put it to this guy, even though there was nothing there. The greats are able to do that. I'm just talking about these guys. Like I say, seem a little fragile in terms of ego, given all their greatness, right? And so therefore,
I mean, that's not a hot take. They're very fragile. I mean, you can tell from the social media behavior of Kevin Durant, who's not afraid of the smoke. Like, he'll hop in people's DMs and take them to task.
Not
for
anymore,
things
though.
That they've said, and we all know about Aaron's ego. Yeah, they're curious, but I don't like. Where's the Jermichael Finley, Greg Jennings taking out Kevin Durant's character and just holding this huge grudge because of the person that they were in the locker room? You hear that about Aaron, though. You also, as teammates that absolutely love him. Right. There is no Greg Jennings, no Jermichael Finley for Kevin Durant. At least I don't believe. Like,
there isn't. Well, then it's a complete misread. I feel like that there are guys around the league that are sort of. That do look at KD as particular, not maybe as much as James Harden, that he's a particular sort of fit, like you just said, 3 minutes ago, that he was pursuing the right fit for himself. And in a way, Aaron Rodgers sort of comes in, and whoever the nominal offensive coordinator is gets overridden by Aaron Rodgers. That's part of the deal. Like, if you have Aaron on the team, like, he's going to kind of call the shots on offense, and you have to work out what the scheme's going to be with him. I assume that's kind of the case with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, like, Golden State obviously was a big departure from how he was accustomed to playing as an ISO player. And then I think everything after that has kind of been along the lines of, like, I want to be able to dictate how we play offensively and how I play offensively. He'll point to his time in Phoenix of him kind of deferring to Booker and when Beal came in, deferring to Beal, and, like, he tried to do what was best for the team. But I think it'd be accurate to say that if you have Kevin Durant, you're probably going to play a style of basketball that looks kind of like that, like give him the ball and get the hell out of his way, which is what Houston did, which is why the Houston Rockets struggled so mightily against the Lakers, because most of their offense, including late game situation, was give it to that guy. And now that guy is gone, and they didn't really have any backup plans.
Well, and that brings me back to my original point, which I think is valid, is they're both great, and I don't just mean in terms of ego are they great. They win a lot, both of them, but it doesn't yield championships. So is it really worth it to chase these mercenary guys around? And they've positioned themselves both as mercenaries. And you just go through. It didn't really work out in Golden State. It didn't really work out in Phoenix. It didn't really work out in Green Bay. He forced his way out of there, even though it was a good situation, which sounds kind of similar to the Golden State situation for Kevin Durant. And then he went somewhere else, and that didn't really work out. And then he went somewhere else. Oh, but they won games. They won games. They're always kind of good, but it never yields any titles.
Well, I think you kind of gloss over a lot of context there. So take Brooklyn, for example. They didn't win anything. They also came like a sneaker size away from beating the Bucks, who
Yeah,
ended
but that
up winning
wasn't the finals.
I know,
though.
but I get it. But that Nets team was great, and they tested the Bucks more than any other team in that entire playoffs. And so there's a world where Kevin Durant wears a smaller sneaker, and they're the ones who win the championship that year. And then after that, you had a bunch of injuries and weird stuff that happened with Kyrie and all that stuff that had nothing to do with Kevin Durant. That's just, hey.
Well, I think the part that I would push back on it having nothing to do with Kevin Durant is that's where people will point and be like, hey, man, can you be like a little bit of a leader instead of totally a passenger in this spot? Like, he was asked about the Kyrie stuff when it was all going on. It's like, that's not my place to say anything. It's like, nah, maybe it kind of is.
So that's a fair argument, but that's where I say not like Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers would have been like doing some, for better or for worse.
No.
He would have
has it both ways. Is passive aggressive. It's not my place. But then, right? I mean, it's the same thing. Like, how dare you have an opinion on me? Is his Kevin Durant and Aaron Rodgers both play that game? How dare you put my name in your mouth? Like, hey, Daniel Day-Lewis, if you want to be a big-time A-list superstar, this is part of the deal. People are going to talk about you. And the resentment of people doing that makes them these brittle egos that I don't want to be the best player on my team.
I'm not this is what I would say about Kevin Durant. What Kevin Durant doesn't like is when people make kind of leaps from the facts that we know to things that they don't know. So, for instance, Kevin Durant's not a good leader. Right? He would say, how do you know that? Have you been in our locker room? Have you been in our practice? You don't know that. There's nothing. You're just making a kind of like a circumstantial argument to that. His thing is like, you want to criticize me? Criticize the game. Like the shot that I missed, the pass that I threw away, well, like criticize my play. But don't come up with stories about like, oh yeah, he really secretly hates his teammates, and which I think that's a fair argument. Having said that, I do agree with you that when you sit in that throne, there really doesn't get to be rules about what we do, say, and don't say about you other than obviously personal attacks like what's happening in your personal life.
Really large range between the media score and the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes for Belly. Media
That's right.
score, 23%. Audience score, 87%.
That's how you know it's a hood classic. The hood loves it.
That's very. I should see this. I should watch Belly.
I think it's a cultural like.
You need to experience the opening sequence.
Yes, it's one of the greatest opening scenes in movie history.
Really?
Yeah. What's the lore behind the opening scene?
That they blew the entire budget on the opening scene. That we did this obviously on Cinephobe, but there's that, and also
what's Cinephobe?
Oh, that's a podcast where we review movies that are poorly rated on Rotten Tomatoes and try to ascertain whether they're accurately rated or maybe they didn't get a fair shake. It's me, Zach Harper, and Anthony Mays, wherever you get podcasts.